I know that many people are tired of hearing complicated secrets about money that never seem to work. They work hard, pray, plan, and still feel stuck in the same financial patterns they saw in their parents. What's often missed is that breaking these cycles requires more than effort. It requires a shift in awareness. Real change starts when you understand that life is spiritual before it becomes physical. Simple acts done with real understanding can reset your mind, your spirit, and your daily choices. There are things that look ordinary but carry deep meaning when you slow down and pay attention. We train to chase complexity, expensive courses, and loud promises, while ignoring the quiet power of alignment. That's why so many miss the opportunities right in front of them. They look for something dramatic, while true transformation usually begins quietly through intention and understanding. Take milk and sugar. They are not random items, they're everyday substances found in most homes, and that's exactly why they matter. Throughout history, ordinary items have carried meaning precisely because they are accessible. And when something is accessible, you can practice it consistently. It's that consistency, not occasional excitement, that reshapes a life. This is about awareness, not superstition. It's about setting your intention, not looking for a shortcut. Many struggle financially, not from laziness, but because their thinking is inherited. They grew up watching struggle, hearing about struggle, expecting struggle, and they unknowingly repeat it. Even when money comes, it slips away quickly because the mind was never trained to hold abundance. Before money stays in your hands, it must find a home in your thinking without fear, guilt, or panic. Simple symbolic acts are powerful because they speak directly to the subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't understand long lectures, but it understands actions, repetition, and meaning. When you perform an act with clear intention, your mind begins to adjust how it sees opportunities, risk, discipline, and patience. This is how internal shifts begin, long before external results appear. This teaching is not about magic or spells. It's not about trying to control forces or bend reality. It's about creating alignment between what you say you want and what you quietly expect. Alignment between your prayers and your daily decisions. Alignment between hope and real responsibility. Without this alignment, even blessings can feel like burdens. Think about it. Many pray for wealth while fearing the responsibility that comes with it. Others desire money but secretly resent those who have it. These quiet contradictions block progress. Before your money can change, your perception must change. Before opportunities multiply, your awareness must expand. This is why symbolic acts matter. They force you to slow down, to reflect, to speak clearly, and to become conscious of what you are inviting into your life. Becoming the first in your family to build wealth is rarely a sudden event. It's usually the result of one person deciding to think differently, to act intentionally, and to stop repeating inherited limitations. That person becomes the interruption in the pattern. They aren't perfect or fearless, but they become aware. And awareness is the true beginning of transformation. That's why we start with simplicity, not to impress you, but to ground you. When you understand why simple things work, you stop chasing illusions. You begin to build steadily. You become patient. You stop sabotaging your own progress through doubt and emotional decisions. Wealth begins to feel possible, not just a distant dream. As you continue listening, understand this clearly. Nothing here replaces genuine effort, learning, discipline, or wisdom. What this does is sharpen your focus. It trains your mind to expect increase instead of expecting struggle. And when your expectation changes, your choices change. When your choices change, your outcomes naturally follow. This is how cycles are broken. This is how a new financial story begins. Milk has always represented provision at the most basic level. It's the first source of nourishment, strength, and survival. Spiritually and psychologically, milk represents support, continuity, and the idea that life can provide what is needed. It also represents inheritance. It flows from one generation to the next naturally. When people struggle financially for generations, it often means this flow of provision was interrupted by fear or lack thinking. Using milk symbolically speaks to restoring that flow, reminding your mind that provision is meant to be ongoing. Sugar carries a different but equally important meaning. Sugar represents the sweetness in life. It represents attraction, favor, and ease. When something is sweet, people are drawn to it. Opportunities work the same way. When your mind expects resistance, you repel progress. When your mind expects favor, you start to notice doors you once walked right past. In many cultures, sweetness symbolizes celebration, reward, and good news. Sugar teaches your mind that you are allowed to receive good things without guilt. Many unconsciously reject opportunities because they believe good outcomes must be earned through suffering. Sugar gently interrupts that belief. When you combine milk and sugar, they create a powerful message. Provision does not have to come through pain. Sustenance does not have to feel heavy. Progress does not have to be stressful. This combination teaches your mind to accept ease alongside responsibility. It's about balance, the balance many people miss. This isn't about believing life will hand you wealth without effort. It's about removing the unnecessary struggle from your thinking. Some people work hard but think painfully. Others work wisely and think clearly. The difference isn't just effort, it's expectation. Symbols matter because your mind remembers them. When you act with meaning, you reinforce a new belief. When belief is reinforced, your behavior shifts. When your behavior shifts, your results change. This is how small acts produce long-term transformation. Not because the object itself is powerful, but because your mind becomes disciplined and focused. Many confuse spiritual symbolism with superstition. Superstition relies on fear and blind repetition. Symbolism relies on understanding and intention. When you know why you are doing something, you are not controlled by it. You are using it as a tool for focus and clarity. Milk also teaches patience. It spoils if mishandled, reminding you that growth requires care. Wealth works the same way. When money comes before discipline, it often disappears. Sugar teaches enjoyment alongside restraint. Together they teach balance, and balance is what creates stability. Unbalanced wealth creates chaos. Unbalanced ambition creates burnout. This combination communicates moderation, clarity, and sustainability. That's why the act must be done calmly, not hushed, and with intention, not raw emotion. Another reason this works psychologically is because it engages your senses, sight, movement, even taste. The more senses involved in an intentional act, the deeper it imprints on your subconscious. This is how new habits and beliefs are formed. When you stir milk and sugar, you are practicing focused attention, a skill that's rare in our distracted world. People who build wealth are often not smarter, they are more focused. This simple act trains your mind to slow down, to direct your attention, and to speak intentionally. These are the same skills required to recognize real opportunities. It's important to understand that this act is not about forcing an outcome. Forcing creates anxiety, and anxiety clouds judgment. This is about alignment, which allows opportunities to feel natural, not forced or stressful. When alignment is present, your actions become clearer. Many ask why simple acts can produce such noticeable internal shifts. The answer is because simplicity removes pressure. When pressure is removed, your mind becomes receptive. And when your mind is receptive, learning and growth accelerate. This is the foundation of sustainable success. Milk and sugar do not promise instant miracles. They represent a starting point, a mental reset, a symbolic declaration that you are ready to change how you relate to money, opportunity, and responsibility. That readiness is what truly attracts progress. Before you do anything physical, your preparation matters more than the act itself. Many people don't see results, not because the method is wrong, but because their state of mind is wrong. This is not about rushed behavior, it's about intentional alignment. Don't begin when you are angry, desperate, or fearful. Your inner state is part of the process. Whatever state you are in is what you will reinforce. Choose a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Turn off distractions. This isn't about creating drama, it's about creating clarity. A distracted mind cannot imprint intention deeply. Use a clean glass or bowl, not something cracked or neglected. This signals to yourself that what you are doing matters. The same discipline is required when handling money responsibly. Timing matters. The best time is early in the morning, before you've spoken to many people, or late at night before sleep. If you choose the morning, do it before checking your phone. If you choose night, do it after you've settled, not right after conflict. The goal is to be in a state of calm and neutrality. Your posture matters. Sit or stand upright. Take 3 slow breaths before you begin. This signals your nervous system to calm down. Calm is important because panic contradicts abundance thinking. Before you touch anything, pause. This pause is critical. Ask yourself internally, am I clear about what I want, or am I confused? Don't proceed until the answer feels settled. Clarity is more powerful than any repetition. Be honest about your expectation. If you're doing this while secretly mocking it or feeling foolish, stop. You don't need blind belief, but you do need respect for the process. And don't do this to escape responsibility. This works best when paired with a willingness to act when opportunities appear. Now, begin the process itself. Do this slowly. Rushing comes from impatience and weakens intention. Place your clean glass or bowl in front of you and pause again, letting your attention settle completely. Pour the milk gently. Don't fill it to the top. Leave some space. This space matters symbolically. It represents room for growth. A mind that feels too full has no space for new increase. Add a small amount of sugar. 1 spoon is enough. This is not about quantity. More does not make it stronger. Excess can. Signal desperation. As you add the sugar, don't speak yet. Let the action happen in silence. Now, begin to stir slowly in one direction only. Consistency in your movement teaches your mind order, not chaos. After a few slow stirs, begin to speak. Your voice should be calm, steady, and clear. Speak as someone who expects to be heard. What you say must be simple. For example, you might say, I attract opportunities that increase my income and improve my life. Pause and let the words settle. Then you could say a second statement like, I am disciplined, focused, and ready to manage what comes to me. This balances attraction with maturity. 2 or 3 clear statements are enough. Don't repeat endlessly. Trust that your mind has heard you. As you stir, focus on the feeling of calm expectation, not excitement, not desperation. Calm expectation is the state most aligned with steady progress. After stirring for a short while, stop. Place the spoon down gently. This clean ending teaches your mind closure and prevents obsession. Now, decide what to do next based on your intention. Some people drink the mixture slowly, symbolizing the internalization of provision and attraction. If you drink it, do so calmly and deliberately. Others prefer to let it sit for a few minutes while reflecting quietly. If you do this, don't leave it for long. While it's present, remain silent. Silence allows for integration. This is when your subconscious connects the act to your belief. When you are done, if you didn't drink it, dispose of the remaining liquid respectfully. Don't pour it out carelessly. How you handle the closing reinforces discipline and respect. What you do after the act is just as important. Do not cancel your intention by becoming anxious, watching for signs, or repeating the act out of fear. That communicates doubt, not trust. Once it's complete, return to your normal activities calmly. Don't announce it to everyone seeking validation. Privacy allows your internal alignment to stabilize. If you drank it, let that be the end of the physical act. Don't keep thinking about it all day. The goal is integration, not fixation. Observe your thoughts in the following days. The first changes are usually internal. You might notice increased clarity, patience, or a stronger sense of direction. These subtle shifts compound over time. This is also when responsibility begins. Pay attention to ideas that come to mind or to habits that suddenly feel uncomfortable. When alignment shifts, your mind becomes less tolerant of waste and procrastination. Don't repeat this act daily. This is a reset, not a routine. Once is enough for a cycle. Continue your normal efforts. Work, learn, plan, but do so with this new increased awareness. Act as someone who expects progress. If nothing dramatic happens immediately, don't conclude it failed. Most real breakthroughs begin quietly. Seeds grow underground before you see the sprout. The mistake is digging up the seed every day to check on it. Patience protects growth. Maintain emotional balance. Avoid extreme optimism or pessimism. Both distort your judgment. Calm confidence is the most productive state. When you hold this state consistently, opportunities become easier to recognize and to manage. Results rarely appear in the way we imagine. The first results are internal shifts that quietly change how you move through life. You may start thinking more clearly about money, noticing wasteful habits, or feeling less fear around financial decisions. When your awareness sharpens, you start seeing opportunities that were always there. A conversation stands out. An idea feels actionable. This isn't coincidence. It's your perception adjusting to your new expectation. As awareness improves, discipline becomes easier. You may find it simpler to save or to follow through. This isn't because you got a sudden burst of motivation, but because your internal resistance decreased. When resistance drops, effort feels lighter and progress becomes sustainable. Often, opportunities appear disguised as responsibility. More work, more learning, more accountability may show up before money does. Many reject these stages, waiting for ease without effort. True ease comes after competence, not before. This is where alignment tests your maturity. When an opportunity feels clear and reasonable, respond. Don't delay out of fear. Action, even imperfect action, strengthens new patterns. At this stage, consistency matters more than intensity. Small actions repeated daily compound faster than occasional bursts of effort. And as progress begins, guard against comparison. Looking at others breeds impatience and self-doubt. Stay focused on your own path. Generational shifts are personal. They require steady commitment, not external validation. Another sign of alignment is increased discernment. You may start saying no more often. Not every opportunity is for. Discernment protects your energy and resources, and it prevents you from scattering your efforts. If setbacks occur, don't panic. See them as part of recalibration, feedback, not punishment. Learning from setbacks builds real resilience over time. Ultimately, alignment creates a confidence that is rooted in competence. This confidence is calm, not loud. It allows you to negotiate better, to plan for the long term, and to take measured risks. This is how wealth grows without destroying your peace. Generational wealth begins when internal chaos ends. When your thinking becomes stable, your actions become consistent. When your actions become consistent, your outcomes change. This is the real result, not a single moment, but a new trajectory. Let's speak clearly about discernment to end this teaching. Symbolic acts are tools, not lifelines. If you begin to depend on a single action while neglecting your own growth, learning, and responsibility, progress will stall. This practice is meant to awaken your awareness, not replace your effort. The moment you feel powerless without repeating it, you've moved from alignment into dependence. And that weakens true confidence. Beware of impatience disguised as faith. Wanting fast results can quietly sabotage long-term success. Wealth that arrives before discipline often creates stress, not freedom. This is why calm expectation matters so much. Trust allows growth to mature naturally. Pressure leads to poor decisions. Don't imitate this blindly. It works when it is understood, not when it is copied mechanically. If you perform the act without reflection, clarity, or intention, it becomes empty behavior. The meaning is what activates your mind. Your understanding is what sustains progress. Always know why you are doing what you are doing. Remember, alignment does not remove challenges from your life. It equips you to handle them wisely. Problems will still appear, but your response will change. Instead of panic, you'll evaluate. Instead of avoidance, you'll find a strategy. This shift is what separates those who break cycles from those who repeat them. Finally, understand this deeply. Becoming the first in your family to build wealth is not about the money alone. It's about becoming the person who thinks clearly, acts responsibly, and remains steady under pressure. When that transformation happens inside you, the external results will follow naturally. This is how a new legacy begins. Quietly, intentionally, and built to last. Thank you for listening. This is Joshua Selman Wisdom. The journey continues beyond that single moment of intention. You've stirred the milk and soup. God, you've spoken your words and you've returned to your day. Now, life goes on. But something is different. It's not that the sky opened up. It's that the noise in your mind began to settle. This quietness is where the real work begins. You see, for so long, your mind has been a crowded room, full of voices from the past, fears about the future, and the static of comparison. That symbolic act was like gently asking everyone to be silent for a moment. And in that silence, you could finally hear your own voice. You could hear what you truly want, what you actually believe is possible. That voice is your most powerful guide. This is where many people get lost again. They mistake the silence for nothing happening. They expect a thunderclap, a sign written in the sky. But the most profound shifts are felt, not seen. You might walk to your job the next day and feel a subtle distance from the gossip or the complaining. You might look at your budget and, instead of feeling overwhelmed, feel a calm curiosity about how to manage it better. This is the first fruit of alignment, a quiet courage to face what is in front of you without the old layers of drama and dread. It's in these ordinary moments that your new story is written. When you choose to save a small amount before spending, that's a sentence in your new story. When you listen to a learning podcast instead of mindless scrolling, that's another sentence. When you politely decline a loan request that feels wrong in your spirit, that's a powerful paragraph. These are not dramatic actions in the eyes of the world, but in the spiritual realm, they are declarations. They are you saying, I am under new management. My past does not dictate my future. This is how you build, brick by brick, a new reality. The milk and sugar were the blueprint. These daily choices are the construction. You will have days where the old feeling comes back. A bill surprises you, a plan falls through, and that familiar anxiety tries to wrap itself around your heart. This is not failure. This is the test of your new awareness. In that moment, you have a choice. You can revert to the old script, panic, complain, feel cursed, or you can pause. You can remember the calmness of stirring that cup. You can reconnect with the intention you set. You can say to yourself, this is a situation to be managed, not a verdict on my destiny. This simple pivot is where generational chains are broken. It's in choosing a different response over and over until it becomes your nature. This path requires a new kind of patience. Not a passive waiting, but an active, watchful patience. It's the patience of a farmer who has planted good seeds. He doesn't dig them up every day. He waters the field. He keeps the weeds away, and he trusts the process underneath the soil. Your intentions are those seeds. Your consistent, disciplined actions are the water. The weeds are the old thoughts, the distractions, the fears that try to choke your progress. Your awareness is the hoe that removes them. Day by day, you tend to your field, and one day you will see the green shoots, an unexpected opportunity for overtime, a skill you master that leads to a raise, a business idea that slowly takes shape. These are your shoots. Celebrate them, but don't uproot them by demanding the full harvest immediately. Let them grow. Understand this. Wealth is not just currency in an account. It is a quality of mind. It is the space, the peace, and the options that come when you are not dominated by lack. It is the ability to sleep deeply, knowing you have a plan. It is the capacity to help a loved one without destroying yourself. It is the quiet dignity of being the one who breaks the cycle of crisis. This kind of wealth is built in the unseen places, in your thoughts, in your habits, in your daily rituals. The world sees the car or the house much later, but you will feel the change in your spirit first. So, as you move forward, carry this simplicity with you. When confusion comes, return to simple questions. Does this thought feel like lack or like abundance? Does this choice align with the person I am becoming? Am I acting from fear or from faith? You don't need a complicated philosophy. You just need to be brutally honest with yourself. Alignment is simply your thoughts, your words, and your actions all pointing in the same direction, towards growth, towards responsibility, towards increase. There will be people who don't understand your new calmness. They may even mock your subtle changes. Protect your peace. You don't need to explain your journey to everyone. Not everyone is meant to understand the path you're walking. Your responsibility is to walk it faithfully, not to convince the spectators. Their noise is not your burden. Keep your eyes on your own field. Tend to it. Remember, the goal is not to become a person who never has a problem. The goal is to become a person whose spirit is not shaken by problems. A person who sees a challenge and immediately starts looking for the lesson and the leverage within it. This resilient spirit is the greatest wealth you can ever cultivate. It is what you will pass down, not just money, but a way of being. You will pass down calmness. You will pass down strategy. You will pass down hope that is rooted in action. This is the continuation of your reset. Every morning when you wake up, take that quietness with you. Let it be in the way you drink your water, in the way you plan your day, the way you speak. Eke to your family. Let your financial life be an extension of your spiritual integrity, honest, deliberate, and full of trust. You are not just changing your account balance, you are changing your atmosphere. You are becoming a magnet for better, not through force, but through the powerful, quiet frequency of alignment. You are writing a new story for your bloodline, and it starts now in this ordinary, magnificent moment. Keep going. Let's talk about what happens when the first real test arrives, because it will. An unexpected expense, a delayed payment, a promise that falls through. The old ghost of lack will whisper in your ear, see, nothing has changed. You are still in the same cycle. This moment is sacred. It is not a sign that your intention failed. It is the universe asking you, how serious are you about this new mind? This is the crossroads when most people turn back, believing the illusion of the old path more than the promise of the new one they've just begun to walk. But you will pause. You will feel the fear, and then you'll remember the spoon stirring in that cup. You will remember the deliberate motion, the space you left at the top, the calmness of your own voice. You will reconnect to the feeling of alignment, not the feeling of panic. And from that place, you will ask a different question. Instead of why does this always happen to me? You will ask, what is this trying to teach me? Where is the hidden opportunity for adjustment? This shift in questioning is the master key. It moves you from being a victim of circumstance to being a student of your life. It turns every setback into a setup for a greater comeback. This is where you begin to build real spiritual muscle. Faith is not the absence of challenges. It is the strength to face them with a different spirit. It's the quiet knowing that you are being guided even through the valley. So you sit with your budget again. You look at the numbers without the drama. You make the hard call. You negotiate. You find a creative solution. This practical action done from a place of calm authority is 1,000 times more powerful than any prayer said in a frenzy of fear. You are demonstrating to yourself that you can handle it. This builds an unshakable inner confidence that no market crash can take away. Now, let's speak about the people around you. As you change, your relationships will be tested. Some friendships may fade because they were built on commiseration, not on growth. You may outgrow conversations that only revolve around lack and limitation. This is not a loss. It is a necessary clearing. It makes space for new connections. People who speak about ideas, about investments, about building. You will attract mentors and partners almost effortlessly because your energy will have changed. You are no longer broadcasting a signal of desperation. You are emitting a frequency of readiness and discernment. The right people are drawn to that like a magnet. And what about gratitude? It becomes your secret weapon. In the past, you might have only felt grateful after a big win. Now you practice gratitude as the fuel for the journey. You give thanks for the lesson in the delay. You give thanks for the clarity that comes from a closed door. You give thanks for the discipline to save that small amount. This gratitude is not naive. It is strategic. It keeps your heart soft and your mind open. A bitter, resentful spirit repels blessing. A grateful, watchful spirit attracts it. You begin to see the provision that was always there. The skills you possess, the time you have, the simple fact that you have another day to try. This awareness itself is a form of wealth. Your vision will start to stretch. Where you once only saw bills, you'll begin to see system. You'll think in terms of streams, not just a single source. You'll consider legacy, not just survival. This is the generational mind awakening in you. You are no longer planning just for the end of the month. You're planning for the end of your life and for the beginning of your children's security. This long view changes everything. It makes you patient. It makes you wise. It makes you generous in a way that doesn't deplete you, because you understand that true generosity is an investment in the ecosystem of your family and community. There will be moments of profound simplicity that feel like breakthroughs. The day you realize you passed a whole week without a single anxiety attack about money. The moment you can listen to someone else's good news without a twinge of jealousy, but with genuine joy, knowing their success is proof that success is possible, and therefore possible for you too. These are the milestones. Celebrate them. They are the evidence that the change is real, that it is taking root deep in your soul. Do not despise the small, consistent steps, the daily reading, the weekly financial review, the quiet meditation on your goals. These are the threads that weave the tapestry of your new life. Anyone can be dramatic for a day. It is the quiet, persistent ones who inherit the future. You are building a life, and a life is built day by day, choice by choice, thought by thought. The symbolic act was the spark. Your daily life is now the oxygen feeding the flame. So keep walking, even when the path is unclear. Take the next simple step. When doubt comes, speak your intentions aloud again, even if it's just a whisper to yourself. You are in a conversation with your own future. The words you speak today are shaping the reality you walk into tomorrow. Speak words of clarity, not confusion. Speak words of peace, not panic. Speak words of abundance, not scarcity. Your spirit is always listening. You are not just breaking a cycle, you are becoming a cycle breaker. There is a difference. Breaking a cycle is an event. Becoming a cycle breaker is an identity. It is who you are now. It is in your walk, in your gaze, in the calm way you handle pressure. You are the ancestor your future lineage will thank. They may never know about the cup of milk and sugar, but they will live in the atmosphere of peace and possibility that you created from that single point of intention. They will inherit a new normal. And it all started when you decided that your life could be different, and you had the courage to do something simple with profound belief. This is your story now. Write it well, with patience, with courage, and with an unwavering trust in the quiet power of alignment. The journey continues, and you are exactly where you need to be. Now, let's go even deeper into the quiet spaces between your thoughts. This is where the real transformation lives. You see, you've changed your actions. You've shifted your questions. But there's a layer beneath that. The layer of your silent beliefs. Those beliefs are like the bedrock underneath the soil of your life. Everything grows from them. For years, that bedrock has had cracks of not enough, faults of I don't deserve. And underground rivers of this is just how it is for people like us. Your intentional acts have begun to send gentle tremors through that old bedrock. Now, we must allow a new foundation to settle in its place. This part of the journey feels less like doing and more like becoming. It's learning the art of receiving. For so long, you've been in the posture of striving, of grasping, of reaching out. There is a time for that, yes, but there is also a sacred time for opening your hands and letting good things land in them. This feels vulnerable. It requires trust. It means believing that the universe, God, life, whatever you call that higher intelligence, is not against you, but is in fact conspiring in your favor. When you live from this belief, your posture changes, your shoulders relax, your eyes soften. You stop looking at every person as a potential threat or every opportunity as a possible scam. You start to move through the world with a quiet assurance that what is meant for you will find you, and you will recognize it because your spirit is clear. This is where your patience is refined. Not the gritted teeth patience of waiting for a payday, but the deep flowing patience of a river that knows its way to the ocean. It's the understanding that all things have a season. There is a season for planting in obscurity, a season for tending in the heat of the day, and a season for harvest. You cannot rush the harvest by staring at the seed. You must allow the process. This deep patience protects you from the poison of overnight success stories. You look at them and smile, knowing that every tree has roots you cannot see, and those roots took time. You are growing your roots now. You are becoming unreasonably rooted in peace so that no financial storm can topple you. Let's talk about your words. Not just the intentional declarations you make in quiet moments, but the casual words you speak throughout your day. I'm broke. Money just slips through my fingers. Rich people are crooked. These are not just phrases, they are incantations. They are scripts you are handing to your subconscious to perform. Now, you become a guardian of your own tongue. You don't lie about a difficult situation, but you choose your description wisely. Instead of I'm buried in debt, you might say, I'm strategically resolving my debt. Feel the difference? One paints you as a victim in a grave. The other paints you as a capable general with a map. Your words are the brush strokes of your reality. Start painting a masterpiece. And what about your environment? Your home, your car, your workspace. These are external reflections of your internal state. Clutter is not just physical, it is psychological. It is stalled energy. Taking time to create order, to clean a drawer, to fix a broken hinge. These are not chores. They are powerful statements. You are saying, I respect what I have. I am making room. I am ready for more. You treat the little you have now with the same stewardship you would exercise over millions. This is the practice. When you are faithful with little, you develop the capacity to be entrusted with much. The universe is always watching how you handle what is in your hands. There will be days when the old song tries to play on repeat in your mind. The song of doubt. The melody of who do you think you are? On those days, your practice is not to fight the noise, but to gently introduce a new, softer song. It might be a remembered verse, a piece of music that lifts you, or simply the sound of your own breath. You sit with the discomfort until it passes, like a weather system moving through the sky. You do not attach to it. You observe it and let it go. This emotional discipline is the cornerstone of financial intelligence. Most money is lost in moments of emotional reaction, fear-based selling, envy-driven buying, panic-induced decisions. Your new calm is your greatest financial asset. Remember, this path is not solitary. You are surrounded by an unseen cloud of witnesses, the hopes of your ancestors who dreamed of a day like this, the silent prayers of future generations who will benefit from your courage. You are the bridge. Feel the strength of that. You are not carrying this weight alone. You are fulfilling a destiny that shows you because of your resilience. When you feel tired, lean into that. You are supported by something far greater than your own strength. So continue. With each sunrise, reaffirm your alignment, not with complexity, but with simplicity. Today, I choose peace over panic. I choose clarity over clutter. I choose trust over torment. Walk through your hours with this gentle mantra guiding you. Notice the synchronicities. The book that falls open to the right page, the stranger who offers the exact piece of advice you needed, the idea that arrives like a quiet whisper during a walk. These are your confirmations. They are winks from the universe saying you're on the right path. Keep going. You are not just building an account. You are building a kingdom within yourself, a kingdom where faith is the currency, peace is the ruler, and purposeful action is the law of the land. From this internal kingdom, all external wealth will naturally flow. It cannot be otherwise. This is the great secret whispered through the ages, hidden in plain sight within the simplicity of a cup, the stirring of a spoon, and the courageous, quiet heart of a person who decided that their story was not over, but was in fact just beginning. The journey is the destination, and you right now are exactly where you need to be. Breathe, trust, continue. Let's imagine for a moment that this journey is like learning a new language. For years, you've been fluent in the language of lack. You knew all its grammar, the tenses of past regret, the conditional mood of if only, the vocabulary of limitation. Now, you are learning the language of abundance. At first, it feels unfamiliar on your tongue. The words like plenty, flow, divine timing, grace, feel awkward. You might even feel like a fraud speaking them, because your external circumstances haven't fully caught up yet. But you must keep speaking them. This is how fluency is born. You are not lying, you are practicing. You are rehearsing for the reality you are in the process of creating. This new language changes how you hear the world. The news, the complaints in the break room, the anxious chatter in your own mind, it all starts to sound like static, like a station you are no longer tuned to. You begin to hear a different frequency. You hear it in the rhythm of the rain that waters the earth for free. You hear it in the consistent rising of the sun, an event of spectacular generosity that asks for nothing in return. You hear it in the quiet voice that says, try this, or reach out to them, or wait. This is the language of the universe, and you are learning to understand its dialect. It speaks in intuition, in sudden peace, in unexpected favor. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. Now, we must talk about surrender. This is a delicate point. Surrender is not giving up. It is not collapsing in defeat. Surrender is the ultimate act of strength. It is releasing your white-knuckled grip on how you think things should happen while maintaining an ironclad faith that they will. It is saying, I will do my part. I will work with excellence. I will plan with wisdom. I will act with courage. But I let go of my need to control the timing and the form of the answer. This surrender is what dissolves anxiety. It is the final release of the burden you were never meant to carry alone. You are co-creating, not solely manufacturing. There's a partner in this process. Surrender is how you trust that partner. In this space of surrendered trust, a beautiful thing happens. Your creativity awakens. When you are not desperate, your mind is free to play, to innovate, to connect dots in new ways. That side hustle idea you brushed off years ago might float back to the surface, but this time with a clear, practical next step, a way to repurpose a skill you already have becomes obvious. You see resources where you once saw only lack, extra time, a forgotten talent, a connection in your phone you never thought to use. This is the abundance mind in action. It sees possibilities as raw material. It is endlessly resourceful because it is rooted in the belief that there is always a way. This journey will heal your relationship with time. The old you saw time as a taskmaster, a thief, a relentless countdown to disaster. The new you begins to see time as a partner, a gardener, a sacred space for growth. You stop saying, I'm running out of time, and you start feeling, I have exactly the time I need to do what is essential. You become present. You are no longer borrowing trouble from tomorrow or dragging the regrets of yesterday. You are fully in this hour, this task, this conversation. And in that presence, you find a profound efficiency and a deep peace. Your energy is no longer scattered across 3 different time zones. It is focused like a laser in the now. And in the now, miracles are recognized. You'll find yourself forgiving your parents, your past decisions, yourself. You'll understand that they too were speaking the only language they knew. This forgiveness isn't about condoning. It's about cutting the invisible cords of resentment that were tethering you to the past. It's about declaring that your financial future is not payback for your history. It is a new creation. As you forgive, you feel a literal lightness, as if a weight you forgot you were carrying has been lifted. That lightness creates space. And space, as you know from the milk in the cup, is where new things flow in. So, day by day, you are not just building wealth, you are cultivating a rich life. A life where a simple meal tastes better because you are present. Where a walk in the park feels like a gift because your mind is quiet enough to hear the birds. Where a conversation with a child is an investment more valuable than any stock. This is the true dividend of your inner work. The external symbols, the money, the security, the comfort, they will come, but they will come as additions to a life that is already becoming rich in the ways that silence can measure and only the soul can understand. Stay the course. When the path seems long, look back at how far you've already come. The mere fact that you are listening, that you are willing to consider a different way of being, is a monumental victory. You have already broken the most important chain, the chain that said change was impossible for you. You are walking proof that it is not. You are a living prayer. Every disciplined choice, every word of gratitude, every moment of calm trust is a verse in that prayer. And the universe is always listening. It responds not to the noise of our demands, but to the frequency of our being. You are tuning your frequency to clarity, to peace, to expectant faith. From this place, everything must shift. It is a spiritual law. Keep tending to your inner garden. Water it with silence. Weed it with discernment. Fertilize it with acts of kindness, even and especially to yourself. The harvest is not a question of if, but of when. And you, with your patient hands and your trusting heart, will be there to gather it. Not just for yourself, but for every generation that will call your name blessed. This is your sacred assignment. And you are doing it. One quiet, intentional moment at a time.